Hello and welcome to Dark Souls 3. Today I'm going to be showing you 3 overpowered weapons for early game. This is even before vordt. Now the first one is really well known, and it's just this katana up here. And what's really great about this weapon is it has the bleed. And when you build up bleed, you can do a lot of damage, especially to enemies that you are not doing a lot of damage otherwise to. So if your sword is doing crap damage, but you build up bleed, you can sometimes still pull off a lot of damage against that enemy. Really good, and for instance, if you're trying to get the Dancer, the Boreal Valley done, because there's this trick where you can actually summon this guy to help fight with that. But the trick with fighting him is you can go ahead and time it right, and then you could do 3 attacks in a row, and then back off. And that works for almost every starting weapon with all the starting characters, just 3 attacks in a row and then back off. Now when he does his move where he holds the sword to the side of him, where it's like a cross, like that, that is a move that you do not want to approach and attack him, because he'll parry you and then he'll one-shot you. Now we got the weapon. You can see here I need 1 more strength to go ahead and use that. Now this weapon doesn't do a particularly ton of damage, but it does scale well if you give it a sharp gem with dexterity. So if you give it a sharp gem and then it has that bleed effect, you can really rank up the damage. And keep in mind, all these weapons are without upgrading with Titanite shards. So the damage I'm going to be showing you may not look like a lot, but obviously all of these can be scaled up with Titanite shards. And we go ahead and we can use this now. And you got your R1, your R2, running R2. And then you got your 2-hand attacks. And then we have our special L2 attack. And it's a pretty decent weapon. I really like the moveset. Let's go ahead and move to the next one. Here we're at a high wall of Lothric. This is the first bonfire once you go ahead and beat the first boss. Now just follow this path, and I'll show you where to get it. You can drop attack this guy, make your life a lot easier. You can also drop onto the sledge here, and then you can skip the ladder that way if you want. Now up here there's the dragon, but there's an area where you can avoid the dragon altogether. Just come over to this side area here. Sometimes guys will follow you, and most of the time they'll just get burned with the fire anyway. But sometimes you'll have to fight a few of them that somehow survive his fire. It also gives you a lot of souls, so very worthwhile. And you open this gate, and you have a few stragglers sometimes. Let's go ahead and deal with them. Now down here is a mimic, and I wish you could drop attack it, but I've never been able to successfully drop attack it. Now dealing with mimics, the big thing is to keep at their back. Now that may be easier said than done for a lot of people. For me, it's really straightforward. You just get ready to roll if you're not at its back and you're attacking, and you just return to its back to punish it over and over. And then he will drop a really useful weapon here. This weapon straight up has some dark, and you can see here that it doesn't scale at all. However, it does do that dark damage, and the damage output is really high. It has a 103 in the dark and then a 103 in the physical attack. And the moveset is pretty good. A lot of people really like the moveset. For early game weapon, this is very strong. Now let's go ahead and move to our third weapon. Now to me, this is the most overpowered weapon because with the raw edition, it actually scales extremely well. But more importantly, you can also buff this weapon. So if you went ahead and did a sorcerer, or you went ahead and did a pyromancer or a faith build, you can use the different buffs that come with it, the magic weapon, the lightning weapon, the fire weapon. And you can buff this weapon, making it really strong, especially for a straight sword. Now you go ahead and kill him to get your raw gem. And if you follow that path, you don't have to deal with the big transforming monster up above. Now then you come through this area. He's going to be this annoying knight with a shield and a spear. You just want to get through him. He's really annoying, but then you dive through this stuff here. You break it, and then you go all the way to the end. Now, if you don't know what you're looking for, it could look like there's nothing here except for this body. But if you break these barrels, you can actually drop on down. And then there's this chest right here, which kind of blends in. And then there's the Astora straight sword. Now this sword, when you apply the effect of having raw, it is very, very strong. You have to have 12 faith though. Keep that in mind. This requires 12 faith. However, that is not a bad sacrifice, especially for a faith build. If you did this raw, you can apply lightning weapon, or you could apply a dark weapon type. Let's go ahead and apply the raw effect to this weapon, and then we can go ahead and check out the different damages. Keep in mind again, none of these weapons have been scaled up at all with Titanite shards. That being considered, these weapons do a considerable amount of damage. They have pretty good movesets as well. You can see the moveset here of the Astora straight sword. Jump attack here. And then we have its special weapon type. Weapon attack. And we do 167. That's pretty good amount of damage for starting out. The Uchigatana. And here we have 130, but we have that bleed effect. It also has a really good moveset. It's my favorite moveset. And then the deep blue battle axe. I went ahead and upgraded my strength so I could actually use this, and we have 207, which is really good to consider for not upgraded at all. Thanks for watching. Be sure to like this video and subscribe, and let me know what you think in the comments.